Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. And cheers, because I am having a little drinky because it's Saturday and I don't have to drive. So, hooray. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is we're leaving true crime aside for a moment. And we're going to do a psychology test. Now, I've already done this test. Well, I've already done this video. I recorded this video. I'm live now as we're speaking, as I'm speaking to you now. I'm live. But the video that I'm going to play for you, I recorded earlier on today. And it's a psychology test. It's all explained. I'll put the video on in a moment, but I wanted to do it as a live so that I can join in with the conversation with you and sort of say what I think about the answers that you have. Now, I am going to release it as a normal video as well. Because not everybody can come onto the lives. I am well aware a lot of people like the lives the best. A lot of people don't like the lives. They prefer to just watch a straightforward video. So I always try and keep everybody happy. So this is a live in which I'm going to show the video, but I am here with you and your comments will be on here, etc. But also I'm going to release the video of the psychology quiz so that you can do it. You don't have to be, joining in the chat to do it. You can do it at home. But what you will need is a bit of paper and a pen, I suppose, because you need to write down your answers. Because we're going to go through the test, if you like. As I say, it's all explained in the video I'm going to show. And you write down your answers, but we're not going to analyse the answers immediately. We're going to analyse the answers afterwards. And I'll be here to put comments on them. You put whatever comments you like. But just to let you know that, God, it's getting confusing, isn't it? The video I'm going to show was recorded earlier, but I am here. Hello, I am here live. So first of all, I just want to say thank you, say my thank you to all of you. You're all so special, all my Vicky Marie Chats followers. Thank you so much. Thank you especially to my members, especially to those of you who've sent me Ko-fis or bought me super stickers. So I received a Ko-fi while I was offline from Eva, and I've also received a PayPal from Tina. Thank you so much. Yeah, any positive way you contribute to my channel, liking and subscribing, watching, leave a comment. That's a positive. Even leave a negative comment, to be honest, or press like, press dislike. Any interaction you do with my channel helps with the algorithm, apparently, which I still don't understand. Sometimes I go into the algorithm, other times I don't. I haven't got a bloody clue. I never try for the algorithm. I just do what I feel like doing, and I hope people enjoy it. And but I don't ever do it in the view to, oh, that will get me in the algorithm. I report on things that I'm interested in. Lately, it's all been about Nancy Guthrie. It's very depressing. It's took a real toll on me, that making me feel very anxious, very sad. That's why I decided to do this, because it's something different. We haven't done a quiz for ages or anything like that. So I thought this would be interesting for people. People can chat about it. And we're leaving the true crime alone just for a moment. Uh, yeah. What else do I want to say? Yeah, I'm going to take the banner off now. So, hi, hi, lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching. Hi, replay crew. Thank you for watching. Any of you that are watching, thank you. And now I'm going to come into the chat. There's a couple of people in the chat. I think David's in there. Hi. Hi, David. Hi, Heather. Yeah, I've been found it hard to do the members just lately, and I'm going to get back into it. I don't know what it is. As I said in my video this morning, people have been asking if I am okay. I really am okay, but I don't know if it's this case, the Nancy Guthrie case. I am doing a lot of driving most days, you know, to take number one son to work or to pick him up. I'm very tired a lot of the time. So I just haven't been able to, you know, when I do a members live or anything like this, I like to have energy for it. You know, it's difficult to do when you get tired as a streamer. It's very difficult to do because it's like if you worked in a pub, isn't it, really? And I've always said nobody goes to the pub because they want to feel more depressed than they feel at home. So if you know, when you work in a pub, which I have done over the years, many years ago now, you've got to be all bright and breezy, haven't you, really? Because people don't come in the pub to see you crying in your beer. Do you know, like they come in to be cheered up. And I think streaming's a bit like that because your energy infects your viewers, your chatters. And if you've got no energy, it's hard to sort of energize everybody else. And also, when I'm talking about crime cases, especially, I don't like to come on and talk about them when I'm not feeling 100% because they deserve my full attention. You know, we talk about serious things, you know, 84-year-old women who've been kidnapped from their bed, for example. And so I've found it difficult lately, but I am going to get my mojo back. I am going to get back into it. I will, I promise. So yeah, there hasn't been a members live at the normal time. You know, I know that doesn't work for a lot of people. A lot of people, they want to know that it's going to be this time on a certain day. That's what's difficult for me. In the evening, lives are especially difficult because I'm not an evening person. By the time the evening comes, after I've done like 2 hours of driving and maybe Spanish classes and cleaning and everything else that I might have to do, shopping, sometimes I'm just honest, I don't feel that I can give it my best shot. You know, that's what it comes to, really. I just can't do it. And when I do it, I want to do it well. I don't want to do it badly. So it's all, don't worry, it's going to be better. Because I think part of the reason as well, maybe even the most important reason, is the weather. I don't like all this cold and rain. I came to Spain to get away from the cold and rain. It's been miserable. Makes you tired, even more tired. You know, I've been frozen and so, you know, grey skies. Honestly, I couldn't. If I lived in the UK, honest to God, you know, it does make me remember why I left the UK. But unfortunately, for the past 5 months in Spain, it's been just as bad, if not worse. It's miserable today. It's not cold, really. It is 19 degrees, but it's cloudy. It looks like it's going to rain. And that weather, it does make you tired, doesn't it? It makes you don't have the same energy, do you? It's amazing how you got more energy when the sun comes out, you know. I'm just looking at the daisies in the background here. I put this picture of these daisies up for a reason, and you'll find out why. Yeah, maybe just come on and have a general chat. I thought about that. That might be the best thing, Heather, isn't it? Just because I think in the members' lives, people actually prefer that, don't they, really? They just like to come on and have a chat and we have a laugh about things and we talk about, sometimes we watch some videos or whatever, but we don't really do the true crime in that. And I think you're right. I think people really would just appreciate that. Just said, came on at the same time every week and we came on and just had a good sort of whinge about things or a good waffle. Had our waffle, wouldn't they? So yeah, maybe I'm expecting, you know, maybe I'm, instead of just doing that, and I think people would probably quite like that, I'm thinking, oh no, I've got to present something, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And I think in the members' lives, people maybe aren't looking for that. They join the members because they like to have a chat. We like to all have a chat together. It's a more intimate situation, isn't it? More like just friends chatting. So I think you're right. I should just come on and have a chat and not try and not try and put too much pressure on myself. Hi, Julie. And that, yeah, oh, David, thank you. So, who've we got? Tracy. Hi, Tracy, as well. Hi, Heather. Hi, Julie. I think and David, I've said hello to. But yeah, my members, you're all so lovely, and people have been so concerned, which is nice because, yeah, I think the other thing is, anyway, I'm not going to waffle on about it anymore. It sounds like I'm just whinging. I've been worrying about the computer thing, because it annoys me that when I do the lives or the videos, they're not the quality that they should be. So it's a mixture of all sorts of things. Just maybe making me a bit deflated, but I shouldn't think about that. I should just come on. Sometimes I think you like chatting to each other, don't you? As much as anything. Probably doesn't matter if I don't say anything. Anyway, so we're going to do this psychology test. Now, before I start, so there's a few things that have come up. Oh God, where do I start? Maybe I'll say it as I go along. Yeah, when I did the video this morning, I made the actual video this morning, and then I went on to StreamYard and edited it because there was some bits, where things went too slow, or I put something up and then I thought, oh no, I'm going to change that. And oh my God, when I went into the editing studio, so now this has happened before, but I've never shown it before. When you go into StreamYard, into the editing studio, so you've got you do your recording and it's there, and then you go in to edit it, and the transcript comes up. Now, a few times, which I've never shown before, strange things come up on the transcript that aren't said. I think I didn't say that. Quite often, right at the end of a video, as the transcript goes down, at the end, as I'm saying my goodbyes, like till I see you again, may your God go with you, or whatever. Thank you comes up in the transcript, and I think, but it'd be thank you. I haven't said, not when I'm saying thank you. Just comes up and it's in the transcript, and I play it back and I think, who said thank you? Nobody said thank you. But it's there in the transcript. It's been picked up as something that's heard. Very odd. Anyway, I'll stop the video at the right point. But in this video, as I was editing it, it came up, and you'll hear it, or you'll see it, and maybe you'll hear it because you can faintly hear it in the background, but I don't know what it's in the background of. I love you. I love you. I didn't say I love you on the video. When I play it back, I can vaguely hear it in the background. But I'm going to, when we come to that bit, I will point it out, and you let me know, can you hear it? Why? And I've got the photo. I've got the screenshot of the transcript to show you that it actually does come up in the transcript. But it's not the first time that things have come up in the transcript that I've thought, I don't remember saying that. And I've just thought, oh, it's some sort of glitch. But is it somebody talking? Is it some sort of, I don't know, it's some spiritual thing. It's quite odd. Anyway, I'm going to show you that. The other thing I just want to show you before we start, because I haven't shown it for ages, I don't do my housekeeping enough as far as my books are concerned, because some of the things I'll talk about in this video are in my confession. This is my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher. This is like an autobiography of the sort of from when I was about 19 up to when I came to, it explains why I ended up living in Spain, how I ended up getting interested in true crime, various things. And it also has got some funny anecdotes at the end about being a Spanish teacher and some of the strange experiences I've had. So I just want to remind people about that, because there's some things that I talk about in this video that I'm going to play you that are in this book. So if you want to know something more about me and my life and how I ended up being daft as I am, what is, there's, I mean, it's a very frank, open, just this is me. I am an open book. I've no real skeletons in my cupboard, to be honest. All my skeletons are in this book. No, I've got a few more perhaps, because this is part one. There will be a part two on the way. Um, it's difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes if you put things in, talk about things, it involves other people. So you're sort of talking about other people, and I don't know how they'd feel about that. But anyway, never mind. That's for book two. So book one is available on all Amazon sites. You can get it wherever you are in this crazy world. If you've got Amazon, you can get this book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, by me, Vicky Riley. I need to change that to Vicky Marie Riley, I think. And yeah, you can order it from any Amazon site. And that people tell me it's easy to read, it's interesting reading, so I hope it is. It's me anyway, it's me unfiltered. And if you want to know anything more about me, perhaps you don't. Perhaps you say, "Oh God, I'm not interested in you." Well, if you're not interested in me, I'm not sure why you're watching this. But anyway, never mind. Okay, I just wanted to talk about that because, as I say, I haven't talked about it for ages, and it is going to come up in this video. Right, I will get to the video sooner or later, I promise. What else? Nothing else that I want to say just yet, I don't think. No, no. So I'm going to play the video. You'll see that these daisies are one of my favourite flowers, and I'm going to explain why in the video. And don't forget, have you got your pen and paper? Because I want to know your answers, and I want to know what you think, what your answers are to these questions, and how you think what it says about you. Okay, no more. I need to actually show the video now, don't I? So, where is it? Where is it? Oh, hang on, I've probably got to download it. Yeah, it's on my StreamYard. If I download it and I play it, it's very interesting, isn't it? Do you think, all right, if you took have you ever taken a psychology test before? Do you think that the answers that you give really do say something about you? Or do you think it's all a load of old tosh? Probably a lot of people do. They think, oh, that's a load of old rubbish. Personally, I don't. I do think there's something in it. We've all got different psychologies, haven't we? So I think you'll find with this psychology test, your answers and my answers might be completely different. Or one person's answers definitely will be very different from another person's. And then when you see what it's supposed to say about you, will it be true? Will you say, yeah, that is me? So you're going to be asked these questions, and you have to say what your answer is, or only to yourself. Obviously, you've got to write it down. And not only that, why? Because this psychology task questions will ask you what you envisage when you're asked a certain question, and what is it like. Anyway, we're ready now. I think I'm ready now to show it. So I'm going to go ahead and show it. Video file. And don't forget, you know, chat. If you, I know not everybody likes to join in the chat, but put your answers in the chat, no problem. Compare your answers in the chat. Oh God, the big dog's having she wants to join in the psychology quiz. I might have to swap the dogs over halfway through. In fact, I might do that in a minute when I start the video. But don't forget, comment in the chat or leave comments after this video if you're in replay crew or whatever. Comments help the algorithm as well, and that's a really free way you can help my channel as well. Just leaving a comment. So let's have a look. Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. So we're going to do something a little bit different in this video. We're going to do a psychology test. And it's just something, I don't know what reminded me of it, but many years ago, when I was young, many years ago, a friend of mine who was studying psychology, Polytechnic or somewhere like that, came to me and said, oh, let's do this. Can I do this test on you? I've learnt this test today in class. And I want to do it on you and see how it goes. Yeah, carry it so clearly, even though it was literally over 40 years ago. But yeah, it struck me, and now I don't know what reminded me of it. Something I've been online and it came into, so I started researching. And I thought, this is a very interesting. Now, I don't understand why it drives, to be honest. I just don't understand this glitchiness even more into the answers that I gave. Oh, the dog's got something to say about it. I can interpret even more into the answers that I gave. So I'm going to go through the test and I'm going to give you my answers. And try and show some visual. Ask the questions, show you what I thought, and you take a note of what you think. And then later, what I'll probably do is present this whole thing as a live. I'm recording this, and then I'll present it and we can have a look at these. I thought that might be interesting. We'll have a little break from true crime. But psychology, of course, is very interesting, well, in my opinion. So so this is a famous psychological test where you're asked a series of questions about various, and then you say, you know, what your impression would be or your imaginings would be of these items. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to ask you, you're walking through a forest. Imagine you're walking through a forest. Describe your forest. Yeah? So I don't know how well you can work out this video. It seems to be extremely glitchy. Imagine a forest. You're walking through a forest, so you have to imagine what is your forest like. Okay? So what is your forest like? That's not it. Is it full of bluebells? That's something actually I could have done. It could have been a bluebell forest. I haven't chosen that for the picture, but personally, that's my favourite. I'm going to change that. Yeah, I've actually changed this. That's beautiful as well. I love forests. I love walking through the forest. And my perfect forest would be the light, you know, sort of covered over, shaded, because it can shade you from either rain or sun, the trees, of course. Favourite view of a forest. But then I actually do love going walking in bluebell forests. When I lived in Reading years ago, that's my favourite walk through the bluebell woods. So I think I'm going to just change it up the flowers in there. So that's what I see. How would you interpret? I wonder. Some people say forests like in the autumn with leaves on the trees and things like that. Whatever you imagine, whatever you think of for this forest, so walking through this forest, that's the start of this journey. What forest are you walking through? What kind of forest? And as you walk forest, just see a path over. What does it look like that you see? Now I chose this path because I don't want to walk on a concrete path particularly, but also I don't want to walk on a path that it looks like it's hardly been used and might lead me to getting lost. So I think this path is like a compromise, well formed, clear. I've walked on it many times before. Again, I'm chinking through the trees, and where's it leading to? So that's what I would choose, the path I would choose. Now, as you're walking along that path, suddenly you see something, and you can see key on the path, some sort of key. What's your key? My key would be like this. It would be an ornate old key, metal, probably, I think, rather than wood. Yeah, something that looks like it's got age to it, belongs to something quite old and antique of some kind, and not something that is quite old. That would be the key I would see. Maybe you see a car key. What type of key do you see first of all? Describe it to yourself. And also, what do you do with it? Do you leave it? Do you pick it up? What do you do with it? I mean, I would pick it up, definitely, especially a key like that. I would pick it up, I'd put it, and off I. If you're walking along this, you might have left it behind. You may not have wanted a key of some kind of cup. It could be a mug that you drink tea out of. It could be a glass that you drink wine out of. It's some sort of receptacle for liquid. I see a lot of you watch my channel regularly will understand this. I see a goblet. Look, I love this. I love goblets. As you know, I have my own golden goblet for wine every now and again. Um, yeah, see how beautiful that is. I love goblets. I really do. So when it said you find a cup, well, it had to look like this for me. Again, it had to sort of match the key as well. Be a similar sort of age to the key. So again, what's your cup like? Yeah, describe it. What do you do with it? Do you put it in your rucksack? Maybe you haven't got rucksack. Will it fit in your pocket, or do you just hold it in your hand? For me, I would again take it with me. I couldn't leave that behind. I'm sorry. So beautiful. And if I didn't have a rucksack with me, I probably would have a rucksack with me or some sort of bag. I would just carry it or put it in my rucksack. So then, as you carry on your journey, you come to two different paths. So you've got a choice of paths here. Do you go up? So imagine you came to some sort of a crossroads. You can, or you can go downhill. Really difficult to choose because it depended if I was ready to finish my walk or not. If I was ready to finish my walk, I would probably go downhill because I think that downhill always leads to the way out. And of course, downhill is easier than uphill. I don't like walking uphill particularly, but it depends how tired I was. If I was tired and I was already wanting to finish my walk, I would definitely go downhill. But uphill, someone with my knees, uphill is actually easier to walk than downhill. But of course, if you go uphill at some point, you're going to have to come downhill. So I think all weighed up there. It's like, walking up hills when you're walking downhill as well, because I haven't got very good balance. I'm using all the logical explanations of what I would choose. I haven't got brilliant balance. And when you're going downhill, sometimes I just think it's harder or more uncomfortable. Going uphill, I seem to be able to be better at that. But at some point you've got to come back downhill again. So I think weighing it all up, I would probably choose downhill. I would go downhill simply because it's easier, and probably because I feel like downhill. There's an unwritten rule here in Spain in the areas I drive around. Always go downhill, and sooner or later you'll find your way out of somewhere. Always go downhill. You'll always come to the sea, or you'll come to the way out. That's the way I think. So I would choose downhill. What would you choose? Would you choose uphill? Why? Maybe you think there'd be better views uphill. So yeah, interesting. You decide. Do you take the uphill path or the downhill path? Anyway, after you've decided that, you carry on walking, and you come to a field of some kind. How do you imagine that field to be? And this was the field I imagined. A field full of sunflowers. It could be sunflowers or any kind of flowers, to be honest. Fields with flowers are just so beautiful, aren't they? And that's what I imagined that the field would be like. But I can see there's not actually a path there, so it might be a little bit awkward because you need a path. But anyway, so that was my field. What is your field like? So now don't forget, I'm not going to give the interpretations just yet. I will be doing those later, probably in a live. I'm asking you the questions and you noting down your answers. As you walk through the field and you come to the end of the field, you come up to a wall. What's your wall like? What is your wall? I did see the wall more as a brick wall. Strange, really, but I suppose it could be as well more of a pebble dash wall, like a country wall. Let's have a look, actually. But it had to be high. I think it had to be high. Now, I've just stopped that a minute, sorry, because I thought I'd stopped it. There's so many glitches. There's definitely spirits in my house. I've come to that conclusion. Now, this is the bit when I came to describing the wall. This was the initial wall that I sort of saw in my head. But then I thought, no, I'd probably, stone wall, Tracy, maybe a stone wall would be, I would see. And when I did, so as I was explaining before, when I went on to do the editor, I've bought to try and make it go better. And it's just not, it works better sometimes than others. But anyway, it's just the way it is. I'm so sorry. When I started editing, now I'm going to show you this screenshot of the edit. I don't know how close. Oh, I've got. Oh, you can't really see on that one. Oh, I know. I've got a better one in here. Hang on. Did download it. So, and this is the transcript that came up in StreamYard. And as I'm saying, oh yeah, maybe, because then I go on to look at actually Hadrian's Wall, which is what this is the wall that I end up thinking that I can see better in my imagination. And so when maybe that more, I said. And then here, you can see at 13:18 in the transcripts on StreamYard, I love you comes up. Well, I don't say that. You'll see that I don't say that at all. What am I going to say I love you for when I'm talking about a wall and doing a psychology test? Where did that come from? And as I was saying earlier, quite often on transcripts on StreamYard, but I've sort of just poo-pooed it. Quite often random things come up. I know I just think, oh, it's just something that must sound like that. I did not say I love you. So how has that been picked up? And I'll tell you something else. As I play it, you can hear it in the background. If you've got earplugs in, you might be able to hear it better. But let me know if you pick it up. But anyway, it's as clear as day there on the transcript. So I'm saying, yeah, maybe that more when I come to talk about the stone wall in a minute. Just listen and let me know. Can you hear anybody saying, I love you? Why is that coming up? It's really quite freaky, I think. But anyway, just wanted to tell you about that. Let's go back to the video. You know, maybe it could be something like Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, maybe that more. Yeah. Why has it gone all quiet, the video? Is it playing? Do you know what I mean? It's just like weird. Oh, there you go. There's Hadrian's Wall. So yeah, maybe like an older wall like this, which seems to fit in better with the other answers that I've given. I think I would probably imagine if you came to the end of your field, this would be the sort of wall that would be in front of you, or that's how I imagine it. I mean, you know, your field probably is quite different to the field that I saw anyway. In my visualization, so it could be that your wall is completely different, of course. So okay, so that's the wall. So you see a wall. What is it like? First of all, what is it like? And then what do you do? What do you do when you see a wall at the end of the path that you're going along? Do you climb over it? Do you think, oh, I'm just going to turn back and go the way, get over this wall? What do you do? Now, I would, because if I'm using that wall that I ended up choosing, I would definitely just go over it because it's not that high, is it? I had imagined that if I was imagining a taller wall, there would be a door in it maybe, and maybe my key would fit that door, possibly, and I would go through it that way. So if it was too high to climb over, that's what I would do. But if it was this kind of wall, I would just climb. I would just climb over it, even though it's not that high. I probably wouldn't find it easy to climb over, but I would definitely climb over it. I wouldn't let it put me off if I wanted to carry on with my journey, of course. If I was ready to go back, I would go back. But what would you do? What's your wall like? And what would you do? And then the final question, and I think the most important question for our psychology or for the way we look at things, is when you get over to the other side, presuming you do, what do you see? What is on the other side of this wall? wall. Now, I thought about this a lot, and there were lots of things moving out of the field. That occurred to me as well. Definitely, I can't imagine a field without flowers, wildflowers, or some sort of flowers. So, what I chose for what I would see on the other side of this wall are daisies. I love daisies. Daisies are so beautiful. You know, here in Spain, quite popular because they love hot daisies, which can be white or can be purple. I had some for a couple of years on my patio. Unfortunately, they did die in the end, but they had been for quite a few years. They flowered for a couple of years, and as soon as the weather gets a bit better again, I'm definitely going to get some more. I've got a plant pot out the front in which my darling cat Angel, who I lost a few years ago, she's buried in that plant pot, and that's why I planted the African daisies in there, because she was pure white with blue eyes. And these African daisies, you get the white ones, and they've got blue centre. Um, see if I can show a picture of them. So I definitely want to get some more African daisies. As I say, when the weather finally gets better, because they love the heat. Thing about African daisies is they don't like the cold, the wet. So when we here they are, I'm going to put up a picture. I'm going to. I planted these um, in Angel's plant pot because they reminded me of her. You know, she was a white cat with blue eyes, and these beautiful flowers, daisies, African daisies. They are white centre. I'll put a picture up now. There, that's what I had in the plant pot, and I need to buy some more because they did die, and they're perennial. They lasted quite a few years. As I lost her quite a few years ago now, before COVID actually. Um, and you know, it's interesting because I actually did see her after she died. She came to me, and whether people believe it or don't believe it, I don't care. You know, I know what I saw. She was in my living room as vibrantly white as you can imagine. She was shimmering, shimmering. And it was almost, I think, just to come back and say, look, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Bless her. Anyway, I'm getting upset now thinking about her. But I was so attached to her, as you do get attached to your animals, don't you? So anyway, so I think although the picture that, you know, I was thinking this is what I would see on the other side of the wall. I think I'd rather see the African daisies on the other side. But anyway, any daisies would do. For me, daisies are pretty. I just love flowers in general, but I have my favourites: bluebells, daisies of any kind, poppies. I like, you know, anything vibrant. I like. So I would see over the other side of this wall. I would imagine, yeah, another field full of daisies. So what would you see? What would you see on the other side of the wall? Would there be anything there? Just a barren landscape? Would it be a sheer drop into the sea? It's important just to write down the first thing that comes into your mind, because once you start thinking about it, you can, as you can see, that I have a little bit. You know, you can go off on other tangents. Though I don't think any of my tangents have been that different, really. So that is the test. That is the test. All I can tell you are the meanings that I was told, you know, years ago when my friend did this test on what it said about me. And you know, I think as I've got older, my answers haven't changed at all. My answers now are the same. the same when I was young. And maybe the daisies might be different. I don't know. I don't think so, really. I don't think my psychology has changed that much. But of course, we change as we get older. We change things. So let's begin now. So the thing was looking through a forest, wasn't it? What is the forest like? And this was the forest that I imagined. Now, apparently, a forest, the first challenge, if you like, or the first thing you're asked to imagine is your view of life. Your view of life. Now, what does that mean for me then? And think about what it might mean for you. I mean, there are no specific answers to this test. Me, that doesn't, that is my view of life. That it's quite sort of dark in the forest, but I like to see the chinks of light coming through. Life's a bit like that, isn't it? It's hard. You get a lot of challenges and there's a lot of darkness. But if you look up, there's always some light in the distance, hopefully. That's supposed to be your view of life. So think about what you put. What forest did you see? Tell me in chat what you saw, and I'll try and put an interpretation onto it. Or what interpretation do you think? Now then, the second thing you were asked, you see a path. What's it like? And look, it's very similar for me, isn't it? Seeing the sunlight come through it, but your view of your path through life. Interesting. Again, that is, as I say, how I think of life, my path through life. I do think there's a reason for it. I think I'm here for a reason. I've got a bloody clue where it is. I do think I'm here for a reason. And I do think there are ways that you're supposed to go. You ever try and do something and it just doesn't work out? You're blocked at every turn. I think when I decided to come to Spain, everything just opened up in front of me, to come here. Everything just fell into place. And here I came. Now, a few times in all the years that I've been here, I have thought about going back to Great Britain, and I've come very close a couple of times, and I'm never completely dispel it because you should never say never, should you? But whenever I've tried, something has happened that stopped me from going. Either I haven't had anywhere to live at, maybe somebody had offered me somewhere to stay, and then they just not having anywhere to live. That's the main thing, because you've got to start again finding somewhere to live, etc. It's expensive in the UK, or I'd get a job, or I started a relationship with somebody. My view on life, that's how I would look at it. We're on a path, we're on a journey, we bump into people that they're meant to be on our journey, but some of them are not meant to be here forever. They're meant to be here to teach us a lesson. Sometimes it's a bad one, but we have to learn those things. There are people that come in and out of our lives, and not all of them are good people, are they? But sometimes then we do, we meet lovely people and they give us our faith back in life. So, I think that's quite accurate, that would be my view on life. Now, the next thing was the key. The key is an interesting one because the key is supposed to represent knowledge and what you do with it. Now, I think this just says me 100%. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in old knowledge. And I picked up that key and I put it in my pocket. And my friend at the time, I remember clearly, said it's because you like to keep hold of knowledge. You like to accumulate knowledge. You like to learn. Some people just throw the key away. They're not really, they just move on. Sometimes I think I live a bit too much in the past and I should live more into the future. But Just the fact that I saw an old historic key, I picked it up, I put it in my pocket. I hopefully learned from things that I learn, if you like, and I do. I love knowledge. I love learning. What about you? What sort of key did you see, and what do you think it says about you? Now, then the next thing was the cup, and again, the cup or the goblet that I saw, it goes with the key for me. You know, it's just typical of my view on things, but the cup represents, believe it or not, religion, apparently. And I'm not a person who believes in religion, in the sense of, I don't think you have to have a denomination. I accept all religions, everybody's beliefs. I think they all come down to the same thing at the root of everything. I don't care if someone's Islamic, Catholic, Church of England, Mormon, whatever religion somebody is, as long as they don't push their religion down my throat, because gosh, this sounds awful, but I believe in God. I believe in Christianity. Probably if I believed in it, I do believe in Christianity. Certainly believe in the teachings of Christ. Whether Jesus was a real person or not, I'm not sure. Well, he was a real person. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that. He was definitely a real person. I think when you pray to Christ, but bad things are done in religion's name. This is what I don't like about religion, is, people will go out and, kill people in the name of religion of some kind. There's no religion that says death is a good thing. Do you know what I mean? Murdering people, murdering infidels or anything like that. That is not the true religion. I think I like the Buddhist religion as well, because I am a pacifist, and the Buddhist religion is about pacifism and calm, and I fail miserably every day when I try and be calm. And of course, the Buddhist religion teaches you to be calm in all situations, not let your mind control you. But that's very difficult. It's constant struggle, isn't it? Your mind does control you, of course. And the mind is. There was a saying that years ago, probably around about the time with this, when my friend did this test on me. I was going through, I think, as we all do when we're sort of teenagers, early 20s, you're going through this, what is the meaning of life? What's it all about? What am I even here for, etc. I still don't know the answers, but maybe I've stopped questioning it now and just accepted it. And I made this little notebook. This notebook is literally 40 years old. And in this notebook, I wrote lots of little sayings that would help me. That made me feel better, and like one of them, the one on the very first page here. So I've written these in when I was about 19, 20 years old. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see that. But the very first one on the very first page says, the mind is its own place, and in itself it can make a heaven of a hell or a hell of a heaven. And it's true, isn't it? So I've been thinking that lately, all this anxiety that I've got lately, and I think it's because of cases, particularly Nancy Guthrie case that we've been covering. It's almost like I'm worried because I haven't got anything to worry about, or nothing serious. I mean, you've always got little things to worry about, my computer, I don't know, worrying about the dog or this, that, or the other. But they're not, even when you've not got big worries, big important worries, there's this lingering anxiety, isn't there? And it's full of little, every page has got just like a little saying. this is what two men looked out from the prison bars. One saw the mud ways. Everyone is like got something that's supposed to cheer you up or make you think about things in a different way. Think and act cheerfully, and you will feel cheerful. So that's it. If you can't make it, fake it, as they say. So I've got one day maybe I'll read that out on members, all the different poems. They're all very personal to me, and as I say, this notebook, literally, I would have been about 20. This is over 40 years old that I've written these. So 40 years ago. Um, so yeah, I should read it more often. So that's it for the cup. So sorry, I got completely started waffling there, didn't I? So yeah, that was the cup that I saw, and that's your view on religion. So I would say I'm not religious, but I do believe in God, or at least a higher power. I love the teachings of Christ. I'm not sure, I've always always got that little reservation about whether Christ, is the Son of God or not, but believe in these teachings. So I am a bit, what's the word? Some people will say, oh, yes, I am a Muslim, and they're 100% committed Muslim, or 100% committed Catholic, or 100% committed Christian, or Mormon, or whatever. But I do think I'm open to all religions. Everyone has the right to practice their own religious faith, in my opinion, as long as it doesn't affect other people. I mean, not being horrible to other people, obviously. So that was the cup. What was your cup like? What do you think it means about you? Now, this was an interesting one, and I don't really know exactly how to interpret this for me, but choosing the two paths was supposed to be on whether you prefer to take a risk or play it safe. And as I was saying, I was completely not sure which one to take. I think that's pretty typical of my life, to be honest. Sometimes I do take risks. I took a risk when I came to live in Spain with a 9-month-old baby on my own. That was a massive risk. So I have taken risks in my life. I don't know if I have recently, since I've got older. Maybe as you get older, you stop taking risks, giant leaps of faith. So in the end, I chose the downhill path, didn't I? And I think that's probably the least riskiest route to take. So I would imagine that if you took the going up path, maybe you like to take risks. Then we came to the field, and your field is supposed to be the kind of field you see represents your view of middle age and old age. And that's interesting because I saw all the sunflowers and that. I mean, that's positive, isn't it? I don't think of getting older as a negative. I mean, I don't want to get older, but there's good things about getting older as well as bad things. I do always think of getting older as a privilege that's denied to so many. I lost my best friend when I was 19. She was only 19 herself, or maybe a year older or something. She didn't get a chance, to live a life. Lots of children don't get a chance to have any kind of life. So I think, you've got to embrace, you can't change it for a start. So this comes back to the worrying about things. Can't change it. You're going to get older, whatever. So far, I haven't succumbed to sort of like Botox and things like that. I'm not saying I never would. But I think you have to accept your age, don't you? Because I think whatever you do as well to your outside persona, you're always the same age inside. And sometimes, I'm just terrified. Wrong, so it's probably more, if I could be guaranteed that it'd go well and I'd look fabulous afterwards and I wouldn't have any side effects, maybe I would, and I had the money to do it. And maybe I would do it, but I'm too scared. I'm too much of a, and I've looked at celebrities and they can't stop, can they? Once they and it does look good. Celebrities who don't do all they grow to their age. You've got to grow into you've got to grow into your wrinkles. Look, I mean, I'm happy with how I look for my age. I'm not going to look like I'm 20, am I? So, I remember, I don't know if you ever used to watch the Golden Girls years ago, but I remember the mother, oh gosh, the Ma. I'm thinking of Ma, I can't remember what her name is. Sophia. I remember her saying, "No, don't worry. Wait till you get." They were moaning. They were like middle aged, weren't they? The other ladies in the Golden Girls. And Sophia said, "Oh, don't worry about getting older because you get something cute again." And of course, actually, the youngest out of those women, they dressed her up to look older, so she would look like Dorothy's mother. But yeah, she came out with some really good one-liners about getting older. Getting older, it's going to happen. You can get depressed about it, or you can just accept it and be late for every new day you've got. As long as you can. A lot of it depends on your physical health, doesn't it? And your health does decline as you get older, even if you don't need mega exercises. You can't walk as well. My knees like they were, there's all those little things. And but yeah, as long as you've got a good quality of you've got to accept it's absolutely nothing you can do about it, so it's all about it, isn't it? All you can do is look the best you can. And some people look better than others. I think smoking accelerates, to not, best you can. Put me off smoking is quite. When you start these things on cigarettes, then when they decided that smoking was bad for you, and they started putting these horrible pictures on the cigarette packets. And I don't think they make a lot of difference to a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't even register them, but I used to smoke, and I do remember seeing smoking ages and cancer and this, that. Because it's the skin for a woman my age. I don't think it's any worse. And of course, as you get older, you see people that who have smoked. Of course, here in Scotland, you smoke, and you're in the sun. Another thing you have to watch out for, unless you want to look like a leather handbag. You do see a lot of that, and at the end of the day, if people love being in the sun in the day hours, and if they love smoking cigarettes a day, that is up to them. Like, I don't know, taking drugs or whatever. We all do our own things. I do remember that helped me to stop. Okay, what's the next one? I've forgotten where I am now. Getting to waffling, don't I? And which one I'm up to. So, the tea pack. The field we just did, representing your view of middle and old age. So then you had to imagine that you were walking through your field, whichever one it was, you had envisaged, and this is the field I imagined, and then you would come up against a wall of some kind, and you had to imagine what kind of wall you would come up against. So after a little bit of deliberation, where I couldn't quite decide what kind of wall, I came up on this one, didn't I? Sort of an old-fashioned wall, a bit like Hadrian's Wall, that is actually Hadrian's Wall, that picture. And this wall is your view, your hidden view, your psychological view of death, apparently. So, what do you think that means in this case for me? I mean, it's not a full great big brick wall. So I imagine that maybe I've got an ambivalent view of death. I mean, I obviously know what my view of death is. I can't decide if I'm scared of it or not. I mean, it's, but again, it's another of those things. It's inevitable, isn't it? I think your manner of death is more scary. Nobody wants to die in pain or suffering or, have some trauma like red rummed or, those kind of things, or die in a plane crash. It's the manner of dying, I think, which terrifies most people, than the actual death itself. Suffering we don't like the thought of, do we? So this apparently is your view on death. And then what you do at that wall, remember it asks, what do you do? Do you climb over it, etc.? Then what is like? And so remember, that's when I saw like the daisies. Oh, that's right. Because in the field coming up to it, it was the sunflowers that I saw. Yeah, it was the sunflowers first of all, or a daisy field. Yeah. Whereas on the lead up to it, I saw the sunflowers. That's supposed to be your view on life, isn't it? And then what you see on the other side of the wall is what you think there is after death. Now, just an anecdote, after I did this test with my friend, I was married at the time, or I was going out with who did become my husband, and I did this test on the wall and climbed over it, and died, and this lovely sort of scene. I remember doing it with my husband, or as I said, I can't remember if we were actually already married, but we were in a relationship, and I did the test on him. And when it came to the bit at the end, all of his answers were completely different to me. So it just shows you we all do have different visions. Probably a lot of the things you've said are different to what I said. But I'll never forget that, because he wasn't religious at all. He didn't believe in anything. When I said, oh, what do you see on the other side of the wall? So he was very dismissive about the wall in general. So it was like, what do you do when you get to the wall? And he goes, what do you mean? What do I do when I go to the wall? Well, I just turn around and, just didn't see it. I said, no, but let's suppose then you go over it. He said, well, I don't know if I'd be bothered to go over it. Well, let's just suppose, play the game, please. Let's just suppose you did go over it. What do you see on the other side? And do you know what he said? And it's going to give me a chill now. He said, nothing. There's nothing. Nothing. There's nothing on the other side of the wall. He didn't know why I was asking him. He didn't know that that's what it's supposed to have represented. Your view on death. That was his view on death. Nothing. Once you part this world, there's nothing else. Now, I haven't seen him for 30 years, probably. I don't know if he's still in this world. I think about him a lot. I really do think about him. I hope he had a good life, and because he had a lot of ambitions, let's say, and I hope he achieved them. I have no idea if he achieved them or not, because as I say, I haven't seen him for at least 30 years. But I often think about him. I think I'm still half in love with him, really. But I still think about him, and I hope that he did have a nice life, that he got married, he had kids, maybe he's got grandkids by now. I don't know if he's still in the UK. He was originally from Hong Kong, so what happened there, I don't know, because his passport You know, it's very complicated when Hong Kong was given back to China, of course, it all got complicated. So I don't know. But yeah, I always remember him saying that. There's nothing on the other side. Interesting. So what did you see on the other side? Let me know and we'll chat about it. Okay, that's the quiz finished, but I'm presuming as I'm showing this, I'm still live. We'll have a chat about everything. Hi. I'm still here. I am still here, still live. Yeah. So, what did you think of it, and what were your answers? What were what did you see on the other side of the wall? Nothing, like my ex-husband, or did you see lovely things? I think Tracy was saying she saw a taxi, a black taxi, and building. That sounds good, doesn't it? That's positive, not negative. Um, Whatever you see on the other side of the wall is supposedly your view on the afterlife. So I was glad that I saw like more fields, like with lots of flowers, and I remember when my friend did this test on me. I remember all my answers, and the other thing that I find encouraging is my answers would still be the same. They would still be the same. All of those answers that I gave all those years ago when I was probably about 19, 20 years old, I don't think they've changed at all. So that's good. That's good because I think they're all positive answers. So life's a funny thing, isn't it? I mean, what is it? Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. And that's true. Whether you decide to even, remove yourself from this world or whether you decide to go with it until whatever the end is. And, I think, but you can't live your life waiting for the end, can you? This is it about dogs. We talked about dogs earlier. Um, Dogs are so happy because they never think about, they don't think, oh God, well, I might only have a year left, or dogs just get involved in the moment, don't they? And obviously they get ill just the same, but they can't. Human beings are the only animals, because we are animals, who can see their mortality, who can anticipate their mortality. Now, other animals do get upset, maybe when one of their herd dies, or some animals that are joined for life. Some animals pair for life, for life. Some birds pair for life. And I'm sure they know when their partner is deceased, or one of their pack, or I've seen the nature programs. Though I find it difficult to watch nature programs now because I can't bear to watch those kind of things. Because it's clear that they get upset, but they don't walk around every day thinking, oh God, what if I'm ill, or what if I die, or, the anxiety that human beings feel. I don't think that dogs feel the same, or other animals. I don't think so anyway. They're here to enjoy their lives. They live them as well as they can and enjoy them as much. Dogs especially, they're always up for a party, aren't they? Where it is with dogs, you can, just get their ball out and that's it. They're happy. They're so happy with small things, like they just need to be fed, they need to be watered, played with every now and again, taken for a walk. They don't need expensive things. Same as babies, really. You think about it. One thing I definitely think is if you could go back when you've got young children, when they're really young, when they're babies, toddlers, it's just not worth spending money on them. Because they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care if you bought them an expensive toy, if you bought them a cheap toy, as long as you're playing with them, you're giving them attention. You could play with a cardboard box. They're happy. children start to get expensive the older they get, don't they? That's when they start wanting the iPad or the phone or especially in this, everything costs money in this day and age. The toys that you buy your kids, it's not like years ago when the things you would buy them. But yeah, it makes you think, well, we spend such a lot of money on babies, which really, the babies just want your love. They just want to be fed, watered, affection, treated gently, kindly, all those things. They don't care if you buy them an expensive tracksuit or expensive trainers, or they just literally don't care. So my advice to any new parents would be, don't spend a lot of money when your child is young. Put it in the bank, because when they're older, you're going to need a lot of money. And that gets worse the older they get. And it doesn't even matter when they're an adult, really. You don't know when your child will become independent of you financially. Sometimes it feels like it never really happens. So, yeah, it's like, when you think about it, babies, they just want your love, don't they? They don't want, I think when your baby's first born, you do tend to spend a lot of money on their clothes, because of course they grow out of clothes really quickly, don't they? They're growing all the time. But they wouldn't care as long as it's clean. I mean, don't get wrong, I don't think you should put them in a sackcloth or whatever. But you don't have to buy designer clothes for babies. But as they get older, they will want designer clothes probably. But anyway. So I'm just sorry, I was just reading the chat. Anyway, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry. I think this is the other thing. It's really depressing me. I know that my videos, they're so glitchy because of I don't even know what it is. But anyway, thank you for watching, persevering. If you're still here, thank you for chatting. Thank you for all the positive support you give to my channel. Uh, I'm going to go and eat now. I'm actually starving. So I'm going to go and have some lunch, even though it's a little bit late for lunch. Go and eat something. I'll probably fall asleep then, to be honest. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, thank you all. And happy birthday to Angel. Cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz. Os deseamos todos cumpleaños feliz. See you very soon in the next video, and until then, may your God go with you. Look after you. You are the most important person. It's not selfish. You don't look after yourself, you can't look after everybody else. Oh, look, the big dog's just come. Oh, she knows when I've been. As soon as I say, look after yourself, or I'll see you really soon in the next video. You know then, don't you? Yeah, you know then. That it's nearly finished and she's going to get some attention. She's a beautiful girl. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.